Good evening to all. We had an different topics in our previous week, and today I'm going to talk about another important area, that is an emotional intelligence. In emotional intelligence, we have to understand emotion. I'm going to give the basic concept of emotion, and definitely I can give an assurance that there are many a schema which may be already there in our mind, in your mind, and that schema you are going to alter and you are going to modify those things, because even I too had a different understanding about emotions when I do the research. I found myself it is a very important thing. There are many things which I had and is not appropriate answer for that. With that inputs, I would like to share my presentation with you all. Today, I think I hope what kind of experience I had in myself, the same kind of experience you also experience. I hope so. The emotions and the emotion. Generally, uh, when we ask the person to list out that the emotions, what they are aware about it, there are many emotions are there, positive emotion, negative emotion, and certain researchers are arguing that there is no such a positive and negative emotion. Why are you labeling such emotions as positive and negative? Emotions are emotions. So there are certain group of researchers still they are arguing that don't say positive or negative emotions. And each emotion has an its own uniqueness, and each emotion has an impact on our behavior, our emotion and thought process. So that is a thing they try to prove it, and we will move on to that. What do you mean by emotions? And when you ask me that, when I ask somebody else, what is emotion? So emotion is a strong feeling, strong feeling. If you ask me, can you give me an example? For example, love, anger, fear. These are the examples. What do you mean by strong feeling? We'll look at that second one. How we derive those strong feeling in ourselves. And these strong feelings are derived from our own circumstances. For example, in a festival time, when you be there and you also be happy and you are more motivated and curious, more active in that place. And your mood and your relationship with other members. These are the components, these are the factors. These are the factors that help us to form that strong feeling. Whatever the strong feeling we are anger. It is because of that circumstances, it is because of that mood, it's because of that relationship with other members. It any one of the things that may trigger and that may cause for that strong feeling we are experiencing or you are experiencing. Okay. When we look at that the origin of the term, the usage of the term in the history, okay, the first term it was used in the year 1579 when it was adapted from the French word émouvoir. The original word is from French, and most of the English words are. You all know that when you trace the origin of the English words, maybe anything, personality or other words, all these words are taken from the Greek or Latin words. Greek root or Latin root. But this word is as a root from the French word that émouvoir. What is the meaning of the French word émouvoir means? To stir up, to mix that. So that is the meaning for the word, original word of that emotion. And whether this word uh, used in English language, yes, the emotion was coined in the year 1800s only. The emotion was coined in the year 1800s by Thomas Brown is the person who coined the term. And it is around the year 1830s. The modern concept of using this emotion in English language very familiar, and more in the literature, when the writing, they used to write the word more frequently. And when you look at that before 1830, there is no much input, much word about that emotions. They may use some other terms, but the word emotion used after 1830 only. Okay. So in further, we are move on to that the emotions state. The emotions are biological state, which is associated with the nervous system. For example, as you all know that we are having the different kinds of neurotransmitters. certain neurotransmitter, if it is an optimum level, we will be more energetic. If you are having more serotonin, we will be happy. There is more oxytocin, and then we will be more energetic. And if you are having endorphin, will be pain tolerance will be more. So the emotions can be directed by these neurotransmitters. That's why they are saying that emotions are biological states. When you want to understand that very thoroughly about emotions, we have to study about biopsychology, the brain and chemicals, brain and its chemicals. Dopamine also make a change, a lot of change in our emotions. I think you all agree with me that. And when you ask me that whether emotion is only studied in biology or psychology, no. It is one of the topic which were interest of many fields. There are past 2 decades, I can say 2 decades. There are many researchers. They help us to understand the concept. If you want to get a holistic understanding of the emotion, we have to study the emotion from psychological perspective. We have to study emotion from neuroscience perspective, affective neuroscience perspective, endocrinology, medicine, and history also. A lot of people who made an the particular culture, particular period of time, what kind of emotions were predominantly experienced by the people, and sociology of emotion and artificial intelligence. And these were the area they made an attempt to explore this. Emotion, when we look at that, as I said, it is a strong feeling. It is the strong feeling we derive from that circumstances, the people around us, and that will make us to have that emotions. And here, this emotion involves different components. What are the different components? One is subjective experiences. For example, my emotion and another person in the same place may have the different kind of emotion. It is because that's why they are saying that subjective experience and cognitive processing. We both are receiving the information, and how I am processing that information that influence my emotions. That's why when you look at that, the person having that emotion problem, and they alter the cognitive thought, cognitive restructuring, cognitive reframing, and they will make an attempt to change in that thought. How I am processing and expressive behavior. See, someone will say that if I ask you to follow my words, but if I'm saying that raise your right hand, and if I raise my left hand, if I ask you to raise your right hand, means you follow what I'm doing it. See, what we reflect, what we see, that expressive behavior and psychophysiological changes. What kind of changes it will make in a person? Sometimes you feel more comfortable inside. That internal psychological component will feel more comfortable, and instrumental behavior also has an impact on that formation of emotions. We'll see one by one. The another thing is about the emotions can be occurrences, panic attack. It may occur. They may say that when someone call me to speak in front of 1,000 people, and I will get an occurrence. Dispositional, it is a trait. Hostility, it's a trait. Short-lived anger. You cannot see a person holding an anger for 24/7. No. Anger will be there, but it's short-lived. Long-lived is on a particular emotion. We all know that we discussed in our webinar series itself. Grief. There are studies, and I thought that the grief we can able to overcome in 1 or 2 hours, but studies were shown that the grief, when we want to counter, it takes at least 40 years. One of the studies, they focus that when they want to conquer that grief experiences, grief emotion from an individual, it ranges from 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's not immediately after that incident. Whenever they see something related to that person, they may have that grief. So these were another classification of emotions, and the components we'll see one by one. According to Seller, he classified in the component process model of emotion. This is one of the model. There he given that 5 crucial elements of emotion. One is on cognitive appraisal, bodily symptoms, action tendencies, expression, and feelings. We'll see one by one. What is cognitive appraisal? It provides an evaluation of the event or object. when we, if something you like it, and when you look at that, when you appraise that, and that will give more happiness. And certainly, I can give best example for that. Someone you like in front of you, how you feel that. Someone you don't like in front of you, how you feel that. Why it is happening? It is a cognitive operation that going inside. And bodily symptoms are the physiological components of emotional experiences. We can the face is an index of that what kind of experience we are having. When we look at the face, we can able to find that. Accent tendencies are it is a motivational component for the preparation and directions of motor responses. Accent that what we taken. Okay. And expressions. When it comes to that expression, there are many actors in almost all industries. We can find that they don't know how to express their feelings. But certain people, they will overacting. The expressions will be very common in those people. It is very difficult to find out the people are whether they are hiding their feeling or not. And facial vocal expression almost always accompanies. If we ask them, "How are you feeling now?" They will say, "I'm fine." So the word, the voice modulation, facial expression, everything will there. We will get on that. The cues we can able to find out the person is lying. And that expression communicate as the person having that particular type of emotions. So we have to be very, the kids having more, when you look at that, the children know when to ask to parents, when to ask the favorable input from the favorable, they are aware about it. The feeling, final component of emotions and the feelings. With the subjective experiences of emotion state. As I said earlier, the same place, the two different people in the same place, they may have a different kind of experience, a different feeling. And now there is one more thing. We all having that confusion. Even myself also had an confusion, but I still remember once we had an training to the school teachers where Dr. Helen Christina, and she is the one who distinguished with the right examples for these three terms: the feelings, moods, and affect. What is that? The word are synonyms we are taught that, but it has a distinction. And emotions can be differentiated from number of similar constructs within the field of affective neuroscience. For example, feeling, moods, and affect. We'll see one by one. What are they? What is feeling? You have to understand that not all feelings include emotions. Such as, for example, feeling of knowing. Okay. In the context of emotion, feeling are best understood as a subjective representation of emotion. Subjective. It is private to the individual experience. And sometimes we cannot be able to, how I can say, see, I'm having that, I can do. So there is an, I'm saying that I'm having that snack in my meeting. It is unsubjective. I feel that what kind of experience I'm having after eating this. You cannot understand what you cannot have that same feeling. It is unsubjective. That's why in counseling and psychotherapy, they are insisting we are empathetic as you understand from the perspective. If you add these things, you will say that is good. I feel that it is not good. It is subjective. It is unrelated to one person to another person. When it comes to moods, it diffuses an affective state that generally lasts for much longer duration than the emotions. It's a longer duration. Okay. For example, as I said, in the duration of the anger, as I said, anger is a mood. And we may not hold that for longer period of time. Sorry, anger is a moment, it is a particular component. But when it comes to the Mood is on the sadness. The best example I can give, sad. Why are you sad? The mood is totally different from other members. And that longer duration, if anything that takes, that we can call as a moods. Feelings is some momentary, it is some temporary. I cannot have the same feeling when I'm eating something. I had a feeling it may not be there if I do other work. But mood will be there throughout the time. The sadness, the worry, it can be long lasting. What is affect? And affect are that describe that underlying affect experiences. For example, what is the cause for your mood? What is the cause for your mood? For it may be on temporary or long lasting. What is the cause? What is the hidden cause for that? I hope I given that explanation for these three terms. In overall, I will summarize in that way. We'll add on few more slides also. Feelings are momentary. We experience individually and private, which cannot be revealed. We cannot understand that. Emotions can be revealed. But what I'm feeling, I can hide it. I can have the private itself when you have the time. But moods are a long, that's why they're saying that mood swing, bipolar disorder, mood swing will be there. Moods are long lasting, it will be there over a period of time, longer period of time. Affect is on that cause for these things, we can say that it's an affect. And you can see that the connection between these three terms, the connection between affect, emotions, and moods. So, affects is defined as a broad range of feeling that we people are experiencing. Affect can be experienced in the form of emotions or moods. It can be experienced in the form of emotions and moods. What is emotion? The emotions are caused by specific event, but moods are caused by often general or unclear. Sometimes we may not aware about it. For example, phobia. Some people are constantly they have that. They will afraid of it, long lasting, and it is a very brief in duration. As we said earlier, it is a very brief in duration. The feelings are and emotions are very brief in duration. It may be seconds or minutes, but it is a last longer than the emotions or feelings. Hours or days we may hold it. The vengeance, years of people that generations of generations hold it. And the specific and the numerous in nature. And here more general than more general. Actually, these emotions feeling usually accompanied by distinct facial expression. We can able to see distinct facial expression we can see. But it cannot be expressed here. Not indicated, and there is no specific distinction we can find out. Here is an action oriented in nature. Here is a cognitive nature. Moods are cognitive. There is an action, behavior. Emotions are behavior. Moods are easiest you can understand that. The behavior component is an emotion, and moods are cognitive component. And there are one more classification, the distinction you can see here, and the distinction between feeling and emotions, other thing. And I will share this content with you. And I will go with that studies which were carried out on emotions. Okay, just a minute. I will share that one more presentation here, where I given input regarding that what is emotion and what are the components of emotion. Can you able to hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, but my screen is frozen. I don't know what is happening on my screen. I'll try to share the second presentation with you. I'll sum up that what are the points we were discussed in my presentation. I think in emotions, even I too had a different understanding. And I'm not know that there are different components that we can able to classify the emotion based on their subject experience, cognitive appraisal, and other members. These were the things that influence a lot. I'm not aware about. When we explore further, we come to know that these are the components are there. And there are. It's not only that the only particular field of people who are focusing on giving importance to that emotions. There are many people, many even social sciences also doing that. Not only science, there are many social science people also giving importance and priority to this. And Dr. Chandra, are you there? Hello? Hello.
I think she's not there. It is name was not listed in this.
Actually, you are the co-host, am I right, sir?
Let me check, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can you stop my presentation? I trying to do that. I couldn't make it. I'll try again from my mobile phone. Just a minute, sir. Sir, can you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay, sir. There is a problem in my computer. It is restarting, and I have to wait for another time. I will share before for a few minutes. I will share that the second point which I would like to talk with you all here. As you all aware that what is emotions and what are the who are all interested in exploring that and what are the components of emotions and how it is different from the synonym terms we are using. The second one is why we have to focus on emotion. Why you have to study about emotion. When you look at that, the studies, the researches which were carried out in the field of different disciplines before 1995. See, the word itself, it comes into practice in the year only 1830. But when it comes to the research component, the usage or the research component were used only after 1995. Mayer and Solari, the emotion intelligence components were emerging. Before that, the researchers who believed that intelligence or aptitude or ability are very, very important for one's success. And the people like Daniel Goldman and Mayer and his co-associate, they come up said that no, it is not a other thing. It's not about ability or aptitude that determines one's success or outcome of the person, outcome of the organization. It is purely or totally depends on emotional intelligence. When you look at that, almost all the institutions, corporate institutions are focusing on training that emotional components. I'll give on one of the study here. A study which was carried out, a particular organization, they recruited highly intelligent people. Highly intelligent people. On the other hand, another organization, they recruited average intelligent, average ability people, but they give value to the emotions. They understand other emotions and they are more bond about other members. Interestingly, the findings, it is very clear that the organization with high intellectuals, highly more ability people, shows less productive than that other organization. It is because they realize that intelligence will not help. The teamwork will work. Teamwork will be more active only when they use emotional components. And later, many organizations, when you look at that, even the recruitment policy, I think Dr. Salim sir is an expert in that field. And they included, when you look at that previous reference book and recent reference books, in the recruitment policy itself, it is one of the criteria. We have to understand, we have to study that emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is nothing but knowing their own emotions, knowing others' emotions, understanding their emotions, and they know that when to use the particular emotion and how to manage or regulate or control the different emotions. And these are the components that involves emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, understanding, and management. All these things are involved in emotional intelligence. When you want to become an emotional matured person, or if you want to increase your emotional intelligence, you must aware about that what is emotion, what is positive emotion, what is negative emotion. Okay. And when we know, I will give one more example. The people right now, we can able to distinguish almost all the negative emotions by seeing the face of the person. When you look at the face of the person, of your family members or your friends, you can say that this person is angry, this person is sad, this person is feeling guilty. This person is more anxious. This person is more stressed. We can able to distinguish by seeing the face itself. When it comes to the positive emotions, we are not having such a ability because in the evolutionary wise, we given priority and focus on the negative side. No one given importance to the positive side, and that attempt were made only in the positive psychology. They made an attempt, and it was on boom on one stage of time. They said that we have to focus on positive emotion and the positive emotions that will help us to have many benefits. And give me a minute, I will do share my presentation. There is one person, Barbara Fredrickson. I think I value her, and she is the one who has done a research. She has done a research on positive emotions for 3 decades. And she listed out 10 core positive emotions. 10 core positive emotions. And in which she said that we have to focus on that positive side, the positive emotion side. We already giving priority or importance to the negative emotions. When the person has the negative emotions, we immediately go and address. Instead of that, she told that don't do that. You can focus on the positive emotions. She developed a theory called broad and build theory. You can also check it. Broad and build theory. In that theory, when we have one positive emotion, one positive emotion, that will ripple effect like that, and we will have all the positive emotions in our life.
Sir,
At the same time, yes.
Sir, sorry, the slides are not visible. Could you?
It is loading. I'm talking in my mobile phone. I'm loading from my computer. It will come there.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And then she is the one who said that when we have for example, in a day, just imagine that when you have that negative emotions, when you experience in the beginning of the day, and the whole day we feel negative, when you feel stressed, when you feel uncomfortable in the beginning of the day, and the whole day we feel uncomfortable. I think you all agree with me. And the same, on the other hand, when you start with one positive emotions, it is like a magnet. It will attract all the positive emotions. So that is a theory. She said that you are determining whether you want to have positive emotions or negative emotions. When you get what kind of emotion and feeling you want to direct yourself, channelize yourself, and that will broaden and build. When you do these practices for few days and you are regulating yourself to have that positive emotion, and you will have that. It doesn't mean that you should not focus on the negative emotion. And there are few researchers, they suggest that, for example, 3%, 1%, if it is on 100%, 33%, and 66% we have to give for positive emotions, and 1%, 33% we have to give for negative emotions. We have to give room for negative emotions also. Certain researchers are insisting that we must have a worry time. Worry time means a dedicated time for all the worries we are holding in our day, in our mind. You go and sit for that moment, and you can worry for that for particular experiences. And if you have done something wrong, you feel guilty, and you want to forgive others, you can have the time for that. It may be on 10 minutes, or it may be 5 minutes. You can take us. Many people say that I'm not having time for that. But when you have that a dedicated time for these things, and you can have better health outcomes you can experience. Yes, just now I switched on my computer. Give me a minute. I will come and join in my laptop. Sir, is my screen is visible to you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we discussed about these things. The emotion is a process of our subjective feelings, physiological arousal, and cognitive and behavioral expression and its interpretations. So these things we discussed earlier, and I move on to that positive emotions. Okay. So positive emotions are the emotions that we typically find pleasurable experience, that gives happy experience, joyful experience to one person, that we can say that positive emotions. When you look the definition in the Oxford Handbook of Positive Psychology, it defines that pleasant or desirable situational response that distinguishes from pleasurable sensation and undifferentiated positive affect and positive emotions. What are the factors of positive emotions? And here, for example, when you look at here, there are many people who believe that their happiness is determined by the environment. But actually, what studies are saying that your happiness or what kind of emotions, your genetic play and 50% of role played by your genetics, biological makeup. 50%. Even if your anger, even if it is on sorrow, worry, whatever it may be, that is determined 50% by genetics. And another 50%, it's not about the environment, other people. If I had a very good teacher, I will be a good student. If I had a very good leader, I will be good in that. No. The studies have proven that how we are processing internally, cognitively, that plays on 40%. What we do and how we think about that particular information, that has on 40%. That's why you have control over that. 40% control in our hand only. But 10% which is not under control, under our control, that income, health, marital status, your husband and wife, your wife and other husband is totally not in your hand, and that differences. That has only 10%, and here we are not having any control on that. But we are having control on these 40%. For our positive emotions, we can have the control with that what we are do and what we think. If you want to, for example, as I said, Barbara Fredrickson, she said that what you do, broaden build. When you do the positive experiences, that will give positive feeling, positive experience to you. At the same time, when you had a negative feeling, negative emotion at the beginning of the day, the whole day it will attract all negative emotions. And the theories regarding positive emotion, there are 7 theories are there. And to talk about, I'm going to give that overall summary only. When we discuss these things, it will take another, each theory you have to discuss for 1 hour. I'll give an outline of this theory. As I said, broaden build theory, Fredrickson, Barbara Fredrickson, positive emotions, broaden the awareness over time and enable building the resources of positive thing in a person. So that is the point as we discussed. I given a lot of input to that. And flow theory. What is flow theory? Sometimes we may feel that now we are flourishing, like a flower is blooming. The flow is sometimes when we work on that, we forget that nothing will disturb us. We are immersed in that activity. That thing is called a flow. Mikhail, I don't know how to pronounce the name, and we have to check in the YouTube. There is a way to pronounce the name. In this theory, flow focus on that motivation involving single-minded immersion. I think we are cut down all the emotions, focusing on the only one activity. So that is called flow. And hope theory. Snyder, he proposed a theory. Hope is an perceived ability to produce a roadmap to achieve that the goal we set in our life. It is a motivation to use those pathways. There are many pathways are there, and certain pathways take long road, and certain very quickly we can reach the destination. And hope is the one it will drive us and motivate us to reach our goals. And psychological well-being by Rip and Kayas. And that theory it is about psychological well-being. It's not about absence of illness, but the presence of positive growth in a person, positive relationship, autonomy of purpose, and understanding that environment and circumstances that all involves our psychological well-being. We cannot claim that among the psychological well-being, it is only because of absence of illness. No. And the self-determination theory by Deci and Ryan. there are different types of motivations for activities ranging from those that feel intrinsic and those feel extrinsic. We all know that certain people work from that internally. They may not have any external person come and say that you can do these things. No, some people they will external members. They will internally. Some people they need an expert. Their mother and other members have to say that you have to do that. And strength theory by Peterson, Martin Seligman, and Lindsley. Seligman is a father of positive psychology. And in strength theory, individuals have personal strength. Every one of us, we are having the personal strength. And that can be measured and reliable across culture. And we can also develop that. And well-being PERMA model, I think we had a dedicated workshop on that. Those who are attended here, and you may know that in detail we discussed a lot. The positive emotions, engagement with other members, our relationship, meaning in our life, and achievement and accomplishment. And these were the things, and vitality, these were the components that help us to have that positive well-being, holistic well-being which we want to achieve. And we can do these things. And these were the theories which is talking about that. So I will talk only these, her theory, and then I will stop here, and then we will discuss a lot about that positive emotion and tomorrow also. Positive emotions is more than just a happiness. Many people think that positive emotion means only happiness. No, it's beyond that happiness also. There are range of positive emotions. There are many positive emotions are there. That's why I said in the beginning, like 10 core life skills, we are having 10 core positive emotions. What are they? Serenity, inspiration, amusement, hope, interest, joy, love, compassion, gratitude, and pride. And when we know these emotions, and like many of us, we may not know that, oh, these things come under positive emotions. Even the word interest, how many of you believe that interest comes under emotions? And many people, they may not agree that it is an emotion. Yes, it is an emotion. It is a positive emotion. See, when we, each person have the capacity to hold that a particular emotion and particular level, we cannot say that the experiences of one person of positive emotion and another person will be the same. No. Ability and the purpose of using it vary from person to person. And she is the professor of the positive emotion. He is the pioneer for positive emotion. Before Martin Seligman, she has done a research. And she is the one who believed that positive emotions are indicated for flourishing. And that can be cultivated. Don't think that it is a genetic. That can be cultivated, developed to improve well-being over a period of time. In her research in the year 2001 itself, she said that. And the broad and build theory, emotions such as joy, interest, contentment, when you have that one, that will increase that thought and actions related to positivity. And when you want, by exploring that and integrating, visualizing that future success, even if you are not having that particular thing in reality, when you visualize, you can able to attain that positive emotions. When we do that positive emotions cognitively, that will broaden your habitual way of thinking. When you think only positive and the next day you think very next broader, it will go that. That's why the meditation, other component will make us to feel that positive, more positivity. Certain people are more positive in thinking, and they may not have any words at all. When you look at that, Thiruvalluvar, in his thing, he focused on the positive side. Even one for a very big statement he made. When we have a very big pain or distress in our life, just laugh out of it. About positive thing, and almost all these theories are talking about positive, and these were the 10 core positive emotions, which was listed by Barbara Fredrickson. And she said that gratitude is the mother of all the positive emotions. So we will discuss these emotions tomorrow, because in detail we have to take it, and I will make you to understand all the positive emotions in the tomorrow session. And with that, I can stop here. I hope today's inputs are useful for you. And if you have any questions related to that, please unmute yourself and you can ask me a question, or else you can give the feedback and whether you add on the schema. If I'm not added more information, you can tell me, yes, I'm not learned anything at all. If you have any other more information related to that, you can please let me unmute yourself and let me share your experience with you. Thank you.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
So, what is the difference between the happiness and joy?
Yeah, and that's why I said if it comes on tomorrow, definitely we are having a dedicated session for that. So please wait for one more day. I will explain that the distinction.
Okay.
Yes, one more day. Tomorrow we discuss all the 10 positive emotions in detail with examples.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
This presentation was excellent, sir. Can you share the slides of the presentation?
Certain slides I will not share, sir, but actually this is the thing I'm using for my workshop. Generally, for other content I will share. This positive component I use it for my workshop members. I given that assurance to them. This content will not share to anybody. Those who are take up the workshop, we will share with the content only to them.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the very wonderful presentation, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Manikavali, ma'am. Thank you.
Sir, which intelligence is very essential, sir? Practical intelligence, educational intelligence, social intelligence, and emotional intelligence.
Ma'am, if you ask me that, all the intelligence are needed for the person, but at present I can say emotional intelligence is on a higher and upper hand when it comes to that researchers and the people who are looking for intelligence component. There are 8 core intelligence classified by Howard Gardner. Okay, as you all know that intrapersonal, interpersonal, natural, bodily kinesthetic, musical intelligence, mathematical, and linguistic intelligence, and existential intelligence. These were the classifications he already made. And as per his inputs and all other researcher input, at present, there is an age is there for emotional intelligence. There are many people who are spending a lot of money for developing emotional intelligence because when you look at that, how many people they may aware about that? What is the emotion a person having that? Whether the present generation having the capacity to understand the emotions of others. If not, what is the reason for that? That means they are not having the emotional intelligence. That's why they said that emotional intelligence is very important. We need to explore and that need to be understood. As of now, my understanding, when compared to other intelligence, education intelligence, other intelligence, emotional intelligence need of power, and most successful people are having high level of emotional intelligence than like general intelligence, education intelligence, other components.
Sir,
So,
Suresh, how many emotions are there, sir?
I think I have not taken list, but for a positive emotion, the list comes around 10, and that I know. But for overall emotions, can you give me a date? Definitely, I will answer this question tomorrow. So as of now, I don't know how many emotions are there. I'm not aware about it. Definitely, I will come up with the list of emotions.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
so,
Sir, how to deal with the
wanted to
negative
check.
emotions?
Yeah, there are many techniques are there. I think, for example, a person who is having that negative emotions, they can release the negative emotion. First, they have to release. The holding the negative emotion, they have to release it. Mental, that is a free association technique they can use. Push button technique they can use. Catharsis, there are many techniques are there. Visualization they can take up. And that is a dedicated session we have to go. So there are many techniques are there. Yes, definitely we can able to alter that.
So I wanted to check, is there a list of questionnaires which we can use as assessment when a client comes to us in terms of understanding how self-aware the client is with reference to one's emotions?
Yes, see, emotional intelligence test by, there are 3 tests available based on the 3 theories. Meyer and Solavi are the one who developed and they come up with 4 components of emotional traits. And the emotional intelligence given by Daniel Goleman, he come up with 5 subcomponents. And emotional intelligence 2.0, they come up with other classifications. When you take up that any one of the emotional intelligence tests, and we can know that their emotional awareness, emotional understanding, that ability to manage their own emotion and ability to handle others' emotion and helping the person, the situation, that all the components we can able to understand and where the person is weak. When we know that in a car, a particular part is need to be replaced or need to be revamped, we can fix that. If one part is not working, we can replace it. Likewise, in emotional intelligence, there are many dimensions are there. If one dimension the person is not good at it, and we can train the person to have better knowledge in that particular dimension, that we can able to make. For that, as you said, it is on right thing. We can assess their emotional intelligence, and we have to find out in which area they are not good at it, and we can develop by providing appropriate components.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you, Meenakshi, Dr. Vidya ma'am, thank you so much. Philip, thank you. Hinduja, Rajeshwari ma'am. I'm happy to see you, ma'am, after a long time, and she's the one who sponsored for our webinar session last year. Thank you, ma'am. Aarti, thank you, Ms. Aarti. There are many, many comments I can see. If you would like to add, thank you, ma'am. Lakshmi ma'am, thank you. Sunanda Ravi ma'am, welcome back. After a long time, I'm seeing your name in the chart. Monica and thank you. I think the emotion itself, as I said, for last 1 week we discussed about optimism. Even in the optimism strategies, I'm not covered fully. I will say that I've given that only that general perspective. When we go in detail, and that alone we have to go for, as I said, 30 hours. I given optimism for only 5 hours. So remaining 25 hours are there, and we were not included. And it is a course for the program offered in American College. It's a value-added program. And for emotional intelligence also, it is a 30 hours program. So what is emotion? And as he said, he asked me what is the distinction between joy and happiness, and everything we will discuss. And how we come to know that the particular person's emotion, and why we have to know that, and what kind of error we will make it. And some people, they are very tricky. Internally, there are many people who are coming from the downtrodden or poor poverty line category, poor socioeconomic status. They hide their hurt and feelings, and in the external they express that happiness. So that why they are doing so, why the other people are not able to do so. That also there are many theories are discussing. Thank you, Anthony Fernand. Thanks so much. Pranabhi sir, thank you, sir. Dr. Anand, thank you. Anushya and Isha, JRXP and 2021. There are many.
So one request.
Yes.
So one request.
Yeah.
Can we look at each element of emotional intelligence and dive?
So that is a subjective way we can able to make, but that will not be right. We may not relate.
Each element of EQ and social quotient. Can we go deep in it? It should be really helpful to all of us, sir. And also look at it from like client and counselor kind of a relationship, so that we can understand how we are able to improve the client awareness and things like that. How we go into detail of it, maybe a case study kind of a thing.
Definitely, your question is more valid to improve that relationship.
Sorry, sir, can't hear you.
I think I'm talking to you. Can you able to hear me now? Salim sir? Am I audible? Okay, maybe see me, I have that problem. I will let you know the answer. It is a very valid question. The people who are having that relationship conflict. And there are many techniques that will help us to overcome the problem. As he rightly pointed out that along with the emotional intelligence, social quotient, emotional quotient, and spiritual quotient. Earlier, we talk about intelligent quotient, but now these quotients are very predominantly used. And when you look at that emotional quotient, that includes social quotient and spiritual quotient. When you go in deeper of the emotional intelligence theory, we can understand that includes social intelligence, spiritual intelligence. And the person who are having the problem in the relationship component, what we can do that, we can understand that, for example, the partner, when they express the particular emotion, the person may not have the ability to understand that emotions. When they are not able to understand that emotion, and it is very difficult to sustain that relationship for a longer period of time. And they misunderstood the emotion, and they may have the conversation with them, or they may take an action, they may show the particular behavior, and that may trigger that problem into bigger one. Misunderstanding will play a vital role, and definitely when you have the better relationship among the couple, you can train that emotional intelligence. Many occasions you can see that almost all the corporate companies, all the companies are okay. Sir, I think time is up. Over to you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Salim sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Suresh Kumar, sir. It was a very wonderful presentation and about the emotions, and we learned a lot, and it started with the like history of emotions in the world, where it came, friends, and the year when it started, all those evaluations. You very clearly started with the beginning, that emotion, strong feeling, and that of course it's a biological state, and then there are today we learn a lot about the like differentiation between feeling and mood and affect. So a lot of people have the confusion about what is the feeling, what is mood, and what is affect. And you very nicely explained, and particularly about the model of Sonia model, whatever that you mentioned, the genetics and the intentional activity, whatever we hold is 40%. So it shows that we can control the situations and we can react or response. That is, it is in our hand. It is not in the circumstance. It is not in genetics. So 40% it is in our hand means can easily overcome with the handle the emotions. So, and a lot of theories he explained, particularly broad and flow theory, hope theory, all those things. And today only we understood like 10 kind of positive feelings are like joy, amusement, interest, and gratitude, and the ranking of gratitude, the first positive feeling. So nice to know that from you, sir. We learned a lot today, and it was a very good eye-opening session. And I think, as you said, we have to have one more session, particularly for the like 10 positive feelings: amusement, gratitude, pride, interest, whatever. It will take another, I think, couple of sessions. I feel that. Anyway, nice to learn that, sir. Thank you very much. Kindly accept our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai and Red Fund Education Psychological Research Center Madurai and MS Chellamuthi Institute Madurai and Madras Club Social Chennai and Psycho-Oncological Association. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, participant. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for all the support. Thank you all. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye.